The hype playbook was indeed called and played really well when it comes to the Nothing Phone 1. And I will say that overall, it definitely served its purpose of drawing attention needed, based on especially when you are a new company releasing your first ever smartphone. Now, you could say that the Nothing Phone 1 is definitely bringing something strong at the £399 starting price that is seriously punching above its weight class and offering an experience more closer to that of phones almost double the price. But you know what? Having spent time with it, I secretly think this is actually a major cover-up to a glaring problem the Nothing Phone 1 has. And I think a good 2 weeks is now a good time enough with the Nothing Phone 1 to finally give you my experience review. Hi, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this and you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any new videos on the channel. I definitely recommend you watch my initial first impressions video because a lot of what I said there still hold true, but of course there are a lot of new details to uncover after actually testing the Nothing Phone 1 day to day. The design and build quality is the first place where things still hold true for my first impressions. Minus the lack of weight and a proper IP rating against water and dust on the Phone 1, it still has, in my subjective opinion, the best design with enough unique touches and callback to what we've actually come to know on a smartphone. At this price point, the Nothing Phone 1 definitely sets the pace here, and the fact that I've actually confidently rocked it without a case and it's held up well is a testament to how good the fit and finish on this Phone 1 is. I've got to give props where props is due. This is a major part of what makes the Phone 1 stand out, and it does low-key make it look, and most of the time actually feel, double the price. Part 2 of where things still hold true for my first impressions, the display experience. And let's get some things out of the way that I'm gonna knock it down when it comes to the display experience. 1. As good as the fingerprint sensor is, I still haven't really gotten used to just how low the position of it is, because my muscle memory usually for in-display fingerprint sensors is that it's actually in a higher position so it's easier to unlock. Now, personally, I think that's something that they need to reposition and fix next time on their next model. Next, number 2, the display brightness being around 500 nits is low-key on the dim side, and on a bright sunny day, at times I did struggle when using it. Apart from that, what's not to love about the overall display experience? Because away from the mega high brightness and the super slim bezels found on something like a Galaxy S22 Plus, I seriously get the same vibe that I feel close to that £1,000 smartphone when I'm actually using this Nothing Phone 1. All because of the things like the haptics being very good, the display being flat, the borders being symmetrical, it using an OLED display, and damn well for sure it's using a smooth 120Hz display with excellent touch response. And one extra Easter egg that you actually get with it is that it comes with a pre-applied plastic screen protector, which I really do appreciate. Best overall display experience at its price range? Definitely. Part 3 of what still holds true for my first impressions is the performance. Now, I will say that we all had a right to be worried about the use of the Snapdragon 778G Plus chipset, since it is on a 6nm process and it's low-key a slightly older chip, but you know what? They've optimized around it really well by giving it a good amount of base RAM to work with, fast storage, and especially good thermal management. The Phone 1, especially with how I use it day to day, it has actually been really good. The only disclaimer is just how choppy it is when scrolling through something like Twitter for Android, which is low-key my favorite social media app that I use on a day-to-day basis. But I will excuse it because the app itself is so poorly optimized that it takes a lot of performance headroom and optimization to get it to work really well. I have to respect Nothing for sticking very close to Google's idea of Android, as the Nothing OS adds nice touches to the functions I'm used to having on Android that is missing on stock Android, while still staying very true to it. Now, the July monthly patch was applied in no time after the phone was actually available to the public, and they also released an additional patch fix within the same month as well. Now, as impressions go, when it comes to software support and also the software experience, it looks like they are on job, and honestly, if they keep this up, then this is a good thing in the long run when it comes to Nothing. My verdict when it comes to the software and hardware experience with the glyph interface and the LED lights is that as cool as it is, and look, trust me, it is cool. It is really cool. I really like it. The functionality it hasn't really been enough for me to move away from preferring using the always on display, and hasn't encouraged me to naturally place my phone facing downwards when I'm using it day to day. It is nice that it glyphs up, but yeah, it's a cool concept more than anything. But at least that red tally light that you can enable to show you that you're recording, it should have been doubled down with different lights and different colors to showcase for different apps. Definitely, it's a more unique touch and it stands out because when people see it, they say, wow, that really does look cool. And you know what? If you can accept it for that, then the glyph lights and the glyph interface is pretty cool. Now, look, I do want to keep up with the momentum and keep speaking all good things when it comes to the Nothing Phone 1, but when it comes to the overall user experience, this is a perfect example of how specs on paper won't always mean in the real world things will actually turn out to be good. I'm sorry to say this, but the camera experience on the Phone 1 has been the most inconsistent part of this phone, and in fact on any phone I've used in recent time. And my personal experience, it actually behaves more like how a £200 to £250 smartphone would. I did a detailed camera comparison against the Pixel 6a, which I highly recommend you take the time out and watch it. But showing you a quick preview and review right here, the difference in performance when it comes to video and especially photo is so big against the Phone 1 that it doesn't even feel like it belongs in the same price range. And if I talk about inconsistency, just to even get the video stabilization working on this phone, I had to factory reset it to get it functioning after the first camera test. And even then, when I produced a follow-up video showcasing it to give the Nothing Phone 1 a chance to really do well, it wasn't nearly as good as I was expecting. And the fact still remains, there is still no video stabilization on the front-facing camera. My disappointment in video performance is one thing, but the photo performance was subpar to the point where legitly this left me feeling more disappointed when using a camera day to day on a Nothing Phone 1. I'm all for a few things being sacrificed in the name of your first smartphone, but a sacrifice this big in the camera performance is just too much for me, even at this price. The only disclaimer I can say is this: if you don't have the same or similar skin complexion as me, and you've seen camera performance on other people that have a similar skin complexion to yourself, and you're happy with the look of the camera on the Nothing Phone 1, then of course, be my guest and go for it. But for me, this is the biggest glaring issue I've experienced on a smartphone at this price point in a long time. And it's really taken the joy away from me actually using the Nothing Phone 1 on a day-to-day basis. Battery life on the Nothing Phone 1 has held up well, and in fact, especially after the latest update, what actually impressed me the most is the standby time, as the phone barely drains overnight if you don't charge it. And that's actually something I don't do on a regular basis. I just don't charge my phones overnight. Now, speaking of charging, the experience here has been very strange to me. When doing my original charging test video, I actually used my 45-watt superfast charging 2.0 from Samsung, which was actually a good 10 minutes faster to full charge compared to the official 45-watt charger from Nothing. And then when using a wattage meter, the phone was actually more consistently pulling 27 watts from the plug, which makes me question why the official charger is 45 watts and not 30. This inconsistency when it comes to charging speeds over the wire is even more strange considering the fact that the official charger from Nothing costs £45 in total, including delivery. You get no extra USB-C cable with it, and the phone does get quite hot when it's charging. Away from that though, the overall battery experience, including charging, especially the fact that it does have wireless charging and battery share, has been really good on the Nothing Phone 1. This is a decent attempt for their first smartphone, and I can actually say that in a lot of ways, this is a very good first attempt. The only thing that really holds me back from the Nothing Phone 1 is not the lack of functionality of the glyph interface, or the hype, or the lack of a proper IP rating, or potentially the lack of availability since it won't be in places like North America, but indeed, is the overall camera experience. If you can somehow strongly overlook the camera performance, then it is a good all-arounder. That's it for me. That's my full experience review of the Nothing Phone 1. Let me know your thoughts if you grabbed it and what your experience has been like. That's it for me, Ben from Lover of Tech, If you enjoy videos like this, you know exactly what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bar so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.